If you're a deer hunter, or even if you're not, and you want to know what it's all about, join me. We're going to take you on opening morning out in the deer blind in Imlay City. Oh, we had a skiff of snow on the ground, just enough to make the visibility perfect. So please, we're going to go deer hunting. You stay tuned.
Here he comes. Is that a buck? He's got his head down.
Yeah. I'd get ready, dude. He's chasing a dog.
Several years ago, hunting with a firearm in an elevated platform was illegal. Now it's legal. Now, hauling a gun up a tree like that by putting a hook through the trigger guard, several people have been hurt this year, as I understand it, doing that because they put their guns up in the tree like that while they're loaded. Now, that's idiotic. Do not load your gun till you get in the tree. The ladder we use to get up in the tree is another danger point for a lot of hunters. They're slippery and icy. A number of hunters have had the steps break and fall down, and that's the dangerous time of getting up into a tree stand. If this wasn't a solid, secure tree stand, my son Zachary and myself would not be up here on November 15th. This is a 4x8 platform built by the Walton family, Gary Walton, Norm, and Warren Walton, and we're up in Imlay City, the same blind we were in last year. That's the setting. Now, what you see right here is not opening day. I took these shots from the ground the third day of the season. But here we are, November 15th, just after daylight. I know it looks fairly bright, but the camera picks up, the iris opens up, and it makes it a little lighter than it actually is. But this is what we saw, snow on the ground, just enough to create a contrast on the ground with the trees and with any deer or any critter that's moving. We're not as concerned with tracking snow as we are with snow that gives us visibility. That's the panorama from the blind, and there, right there, early on, there's a movement. Something, was that an ear of a deer? Was that a leg? What was it? Well, that turned out to be a squirrel. Now, it was only about 10 after 7, and there we go. A deer right off the bat. The light was marginal. They were back in the thickets. But it looked like a good sign.
I think it's a doe and a fawn.
It's actually a doe and 2 fawns. No antlers. But the thing is, you never know if a buck is going to be following them. When that doe comes into heat, the bucks will be after her, and she'll leave the 2 fawns. So while we watched them leave, we looked behind to see if there wasn't a buck sneaking up. Fortunately, with the snow, we could see. We'd never see this if the snow wasn't there.
I tell you, dude, without the snow, I never would have seen them.
I know. They walked right on through.
You see all 3?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, it lightened up a little bit. Now it's about 20 after 7. Squirrels moving all around.
1, 2, tails up.
Holy cow.
Jesus.
Oh, they're running back and forth.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's...
At 20 after 7 in the morning, these deer aren't playing. They're running. They're scattering.
That almost looks like a buck. There's got to be a buck in there, dude.
I'm thinking...
You have to chase him like
yes.
that.
Okay, here he comes. Is that a buck? He's got his head down.
Yeah. I'd get ready, dude. He's chasing a doe.
I am ready. God, I wish I could see.
Well, that solves that mystery. A lot of does in there running back and forth in circles, scattering, because the buck is looking for the one in heat.
Yeah, we got a buck chasing does in there.
Coming around this way. They're coming around this way. Shit, they're going across.
Going to the clearing?
No, they just went across to the other field there.
Boy, that was quite a frenzy.
I only counted for 2 of them, though.
Is there any more left over here?
I don't know. Couldn't see him show up over here. Okay, yeah, there's a few more.
Huh?
Yeah, there's some more still back here in the woods right here. Okay, here they come. just crossed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and that was a. Oh, here comes a big boy. There he goes. Yeah, that was a spike. Very few. Okay, here they are down here in the clearing. Coming across, not in the clearing. Okay, see him?
Oh, okay, there. Yeah.
Well, we knew there were at least 8 or 10 deer there. It appeared to be more because they were circling. They were being scattered. It was exciting.
I swear with the head down, looks like a buck, but looks like a spike or something.
That's what I thought I saw was a spike.
Boy, he's chasing him.
What we were waiting for was that buck, or if there were 2 bucks, one of them, to come chasing a doe under our tree stand. Now, we seemed to be in a spot where the deer were always, 100, 150 yards away. But we could see him back and forth, moving, scattering. All we need is a little luck right here. Waiting for the buck. And it's probably 25 after 7 right now. Oh, we've seen tons of activity. That's one thing that makes deer hunting an awful lot of fun. You might find this maybe a little boring as you sit home. You say, well, those deer are hardly moving. Well, the anticipation is overwhelming. It's interesting to watch the deer, their behavior, how they interact, how they seem to disappear when they're standing still, except for the flickering of their ears. When we're looking at them from a distance, you can imagine how difficult it is to see.
Someone right behind the tree there is getting
Yeah.
ready to come out into the clearing, maybe.
Zach and I'd have to tell each other where we saw the deer, where they were standing, if we kept our eye on them. You take your eye off of the deer, sometimes it's difficult to find them again until they move their heads. That's a big giveaway. Everything you've seen up to this point has been within the first half hour of the opening of the deer season. When you have that many deer out in front of you, you have twice as many eyes and twice as many ears. So when we stand up and we move, we're silhouetted against the sky in that tree blind, the deer can catch a movement of us just like we're catching the movement of them through the woods. They're not sure what we are, but we certainly don't look natural up there. This doe seemed to be a little hesitant. Maybe that's why they weren't coming our way, but again, it just might be the way the buck is running and the way the does are running. They just haven't chosen up to this point to come through our area.
What'd you say?
Said I'm beginning to wonder. 2 years now. That may be the place to be over there. We've seen deer coming in. We've seen deer going out. We've seen deer at lunch over there.
Yeah. That's the dilemma that every deer hunter faces, asks himself the question, maybe I should move over there where we see the deer. Well, you never know. This woodpecker here might look like a downy woodpecker or a hairy woodpecker. I believe this is what's called a red-bellied woodpecker. The zebra ladder back across the back. Red on the head. Now what is that noise? Actually, it's geese, not Canada geese. I think they're snow geese, possibly blue geese.
I was going to maybe pull some of that snow out of here, and I went to lift up the carpet, and we got a little friend in here. See him?
Where?
Right there.
Oh, yow.
I think that's
That's
probably
yours.
the only one in there. That's this little burrow. That smells nice down there, too.
Way down. He's over here somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, there are 3 of us up here.
Yeah.
Well, it's about 8:30 now. Deer are moving again, this time closer. We've seen squirrels, mice, geese, woodpeckers, crows. It's really been something. Now we have a fawn once again. Now we don't know if this is one we counted before, if it's a different one, But we do know that it could be an indicator of a buck. This could be a fawn that is being chased by a buck, or its mother could be chased by a buck right now. So seeing deer like this is exciting because it means the bucks might be nearby.
What? Next to him. One just got over next to him. You saying the one who's bedded down there?
I swear there's one right behind there.
Yes, he just put his head down again. He's a dark deer. No, those are two fawns. Could be their mothers being chased by the buck.
Now, Zach thought he saw the one fawn get up, which mean it was bedded down, which would mean it was bedded down when we came into the woods. Now, that's kind of hard to believe. You wouldn't think that that's true, but what you're going to see in the next few minutes is equally as amazing.
Looks like were there buttons on there?
Yep, it's a button buck.
Not big enough though, right?
No.
No, to be legal in Michigan, a buck has to have antler tine spikes at least 3 inches long. But there they are. Those are the little buttons. This is a 6-month-old fawn. Now, fawns aren't known to be particularly cagey, particularly smart, particularly bright. Apparently that's something they pick up in their first year, but not in their first 6 months. We've been talking up here. We've been moving around. And the buck still decides that this is a nice place to be. You see, we have a crosswind, so the wind is blowing from left to right. This little deer doesn't smell us, apparently doesn't see us, and look what it's doing. It plopped right down doing what people say it's bedding, it's sleeping. Well, it isn't really bedding or sleeping. You're going to see it's going to be chewing its cud, just like cattle.
So it's laying down right there.
It's laying down right there now. It's amazing. I wonder if it was the same one that was just sleeping over there. Grabbed some food and went to sleep.
Well, sleeping's a little bit of a misnomer, and now I can't find the deer.
There's no way you'd see that out there in the set, but
I lost him.
It's so camouflaged. There's not one tree right there by the brush pile. The little one. It's right behind that. I can see his fur, and I know it's fur.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very difficult to see unless they move. When he moves his head, looks like it might be a bird in there, but that's the little button buck.
See anything over there? No.
We go from a flurry of activity in the morning with tons of deer out of range to this situation where we have a button buck right in front of us, 30 yards away, sitting there motionless most of the time. You can see my watch hanging in the tree. It is 7 minutes till 9. Okay, we're going to want to time this because that buck stays in front of our blind for a long time. Now there he is, chewing his cud. That's primarily what the deer do when they, quote, bed down, unquote. Well, a little bit after 10 o'clock on opening morning, we hear a voice calling for Gary. We figure it must be his wife trying to get a hold of him.
That must be...
Somebody calling for Gary.
Oh, it's a woman.
Yeah. I don't know.
I would imagine there must be a problem.
The car drove clear around the perimeter of the woods. This little buck observed everything but didn't move from his hiding place. He stayed there even when Gary came to the bottom of our tree.
See anything yet?
Yeah, we have one bedded down.
There's a button bedded down right there.
No?
No, button buck.
No. I saw 9.
9 of them?
Do you need us to do anything, or?
Probably saw one buck about 10 to 7. It's too dark out there.
Huh.
Do you need us to do anything, Gary, or?
Is that Jack?
Do you need us to do anything, or?
No, I don't think so.
You sure?
Thanks, yeah.
Okay.
To get going, so.
Okay.
Okay. Hope everything's fine. Well, Gary did have to run to the hospital for a family emergency, but he was taken care of. That stayed right there, didn't it? Let me find it again. Oh, yeah. Right in there.
Yep, he's up. He just popped up.
Well, my watch said 10 till 11. That buck had been there a half hour after Gary left, but he knew we were in the tree. He barely moved, but he jumped up, stood and looked, and then took off.
I think he saw you that time.
Yeah, I think so.
Try a mouse check.
I think maybe he's back without it.
No mice.
Because he would have had to run past us. He ain't come back.
11:30, opening morning. We left the blind, the deer were gone, and we went back to the Walton farm for a pancake breakfast and to see who got bucks. For all the hunters in this farming area around Imlay City, only one buck was brought in by the Walton crowd.
Is that yours, Norm?
No, that's John's here.
First thing you know, that buck come right down there just
Well, what's the scoop, John?
well, this is an exciting year for me. I don't usually get a buck every year.
Well, John Kyle Sr. from Lapeer was the lone hunter to bag a buck on opening morning in this area.
Got him headed for a...
Yeah, he's a nice deer.
Yeah,
See, there's a tree on the one side there.
Well, I mentioned that John Kyle Sr. brought the sole opening morning buck to the Walton farm on November 15th of the year 2000. Last year, it was John Kyle Jr. who brought in the only opening morning buck. He looks kind of sad there, doesn't he?
What time did you get him? About 9:15 this morning. Yeah. I've seen about 8 deer. This is the only buck. But
These were the only antlers we had to admire at the time, and taking nothing away from John Kyle, a 19-pointer from Wayne County was hanging on the Mill Creek buck pole in Dexter. Randy Fritz from Brownstown Township got it. A piebald buck, brown and white, was taken by Jim Barber from Fowlerville.
Patience is a virtue.
Advice from Vicky and Lisa, who just met at the buck pole.
Just since today. Yeah. Sisters of the hunt.